Hi, this is Joe Corbett, and this is my first tutorial. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a elevator platform that moves up when you stand in the collision box and moves down when you move out of the collision box. So first, we would make a new blueprint class, and it would be an actor, an object that's going to be spawned in the world. We'll name it elevator 2 in my case, 1 in your case, or 0, or none. Open it. On the default scene root, we're going to add a component, and we'll add a box collision. And it can be called box. And we're also going to add a component on the scene root. It's going to be static mesh. For the static mesh, we will use a asset from the starter content in ue4, and we'll use the floor 400 by 400. I'm actually using other assets in this project, so you will see other assets. Okay, we'll compile. And we're not seeing our static mesh. ue4 has bugged, so we will send and restart. Game dev, it's funny. So bugs happen. Start that again. We'll add a static mesh. I think I added skeletal mesh before. I think that's what the problem was. So if you add a skeletal mesh, it will crash ue4. So for the static mesh, we'll say 400. There we go. We'll then go to the top view and put it relatively perfectly in the center. It's all preference. We'll go back to perspective. Okay, now we'll scale. There, just our box, just on top of the mesh, and we'll scale it to the width and depth. We can use .38. Lucky number. Compile. Okay, so we'll go look at the other blueprint, which is already finished, and we'll explain something about that. So in this one, it's the same setup. I just added a texture or material. On component, begin overlap of the collision box, and how we got that is we clicked on the collision box in the scene. We right-click, add event. On component, begin overlap. And off of the execute pin, we'll add a timeline. And you'll type that in. You add timeline. Add timeline here. And when you add the timeline, you click it, and then for us, what was appropriate is at 0, we set 0, and at 2, we set 2. So we counted out, and then we right-clicked, and we used linear interpolation, and then compile. Okay. Then we have variables. So we would go over here and add a variable, and we would call it ground. And then we would add another variable called air. And then off of the duration, you'll add a lerp, L-E-R-P. And on the lerp, you attach the ground to A, and the air to B, and the duration to the alpha. Now off of your lerp return value, you will set actor relative location, targeting yourself or the self actor. And then on component end, we'll have a 5-second delay, so it waits before it comes back down, and plug that into the reverse of your timeline. Then we make an event begin play. On event begin play, we'll set the ground and get actor location to the return value, and then a break vector, float plus float, integer. We'll make the vector and set air and connect them all together. Okay. Now, ground, we'll make all of our variables, how far, ground, and air, we'll make them editable and expose them on spawn, so we can edit them on the fly. Now what this is doing, on event begin play, we're getting the actor's location currently in the game, and we're setting that to the basic vector. We're setting it to a point in space. And then we're moving it using a linear interpolation to a certain distance. This, I believe, is in centimeters. It may be more, though. It's touchy. So if you put 1,000, it'll fly off the screen and instantly come back. So I believe that is it. We can test. This is the exact same blueprint setup. This prefab is modular, so you can drag them in, and the script that checked the actor's location, it will always set the new starting location, so no matter where you put it, it doesn't matter, it will still know where it is. Over on the right, because we exposed the variables, we can now edit what the air will be. But it will just move up according to the integer. How far? So we'll test that. Okay, so we have to set a new variable, so we'll say 40. Doesn't work. What is our arrow? Oh, it was not movable. It was set to static. Okay, so we'll bring another one in. It's set to static. We'll change it to movable. The floating object, see, static. Set it to movable. Play. It moved up 40, and after, oh, and it will stay up as long as we're on. On event leave, it will wait 5 seconds and then go back down. This one is set to 1,000. It will go up very, very fast. And it stops at 1,000, and it will stay up as long as we're up here. When we fall off, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, comes back down. Alright, thanks.